Right now, while that August heat outside feels like summer is nowhere near done, your growing season is already quietly closing. And most gardeners won't realize it until it's too late to do anything about it. But here's what almost nobody tells you. This exact window, hot days and all, is the single best moment to plant an entire second harvest. One small bag of seeds, tucked into the ground this week, and you're pulling fresh produce all the way into November, while everyone else's garden is finished for the year. Maybe you think it's too late in the season. Maybe you think this heat will just cook anything you plant. Maybe you think this is a younger gardener's game, and your best growing days are behind you. None of that is true. Not one word of it. Today I'm counting down 9 crops you will seriously regret not planting this month. From solid, satisfying wins, all the way up to the one that will have your whole backyard producing straight through the first frost. And keep an eye on number 5. I planted it almost by accident last August, and by October, my neighbor was leaning over the fence asking if I'd hired someone to redo my garden. I hadn't. I just planted at the right time. Stay to the very end too, because I'm handing you the one free planting rule professional growers use to plan an entire fall garden, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Welcome to Senior Green Haven. I'm so glad you're here. This channel exists for one reason: to help you grow a garden that feeds you, calms you, and makes you proud to walk out your back door, no matter your age, your energy level, or the size of your yard. Gardening doesn't get harder as we get older. It gets smarter if you let it. If that sounds like the kind of garden you want, hit subscribe and tap that bell, because every week I'm sharing the timing secrets, the easy wins, and the why didn't anyone tell me this sooner tips that make growing your own food simple again. Let's get into it. Here's the thing about August weather across most of the country. It's deceptive. The days are still blazing, sometimes the hottest of the whole year, especially through the south and southwest. But underneath that heat, the nights are already starting to shift. By late August, most regions see that first real dip in overnight temperatures, and that single shift is the signal every crop on this list has been waiting for. That's the window. Not wait for it to cool down. Plant into the heat now, so your crop is established and ready the moment those cooler nights arrive. Miss it, and you're not just late. You're out of season entirely. So let's get into exactly what to plant. Number 9. Radishes. Coming in at number 9, we have radishes, and they earn this spot because nothing proves August isn't too late faster than a crop that's ready in 3.5 weeks. Radishes love the cooling nights of late summer. In fact, they get sweeter and crisper than the ones you'd plant in spring, when the heat can make them woody and sharp. Think of them as the appetizer course at a farm-to-table restaurant. That little peppery bite that makes people ask what's in the dressing. Here's the surprising part. Most people think radishes need special soil or babying. They don't. They're one of the most forgiving seeds you can put in the ground. How to DIY: loosen the top few inches of soil, sprinkle seeds an inch apart, cover lightly, and water. That's the whole job. Design tip: tuck them along the front edge of any bed. They mark the row for slower crops planted beside them, and they're pulled and eaten before anything else needs the space. Cost reality: one seed packet $2 to $3. Water, essentially free. Total investment: under $3 for a crop that's on your table in under a month and tastes like it came from a specialty market. Coming up, a root vegetable so sweet after the first cool snap that people swear you must have added sugar to the soil. Coming in at number 8, we have arugula, and it opens the greens stretch of this list for a good reason. It might be the single easiest fresh salad green you will ever grow. Arugula is what shows up in the $14 salad at the nice restaurant downtown. The peppery leaf, scattered over a flatbread or tossed with shaved parmesan. In August, it grows fast and stays tender because the shortening days keep it from turning bitter the way it can in early summer heat. Here's the truth most people overlook. Arugula doesn't need a full bed. It thrives in a container on a porch or patio table, which makes it one of the easiest crops on this entire list for anyone who wants fresh greens without bending over a garden row. How to DIY: scatter seeds over loose soil, barely cover them, keep the top inch moist until they sprout, usually within a week. Design tip: harvest the outer leaves and let the center keep growing. One planting can feed you salads for 2 months. Cost reality: seed packet, $2 to $4. Pot and potting soil if needed, $10 one time. Total investment: a few dollars a week for restaurant quality salad greens all season. Next, a root crop that turns the harsh reality of August heat into its biggest advantage. Coming in at number 7, we have turnips. And here's why this one earns a spot most people skip right past. Turnips actually prefer to grow when the weather starts cooling, which makes late summer their ideal starting point. Picture the root vegetables piled high at a farmer's market stand, the kind people pay a premium for because they're heirloom or locally grown. That's exactly what a turnip planted this month becomes by October. Here's what most people don't realize. You get 2 harvests from one seed. The leafy tops are edible greens, cooked just like collards, and the root comes later. It's a 2-for-1 crop hiding as a 1-for-1. How to DIY: plant seeds a ½ inch deep, thin seedlings to 4 inches apart once they sprout. Keep the soil consistently moist. Design tip: interplant them with a taller crop like kale. The turnips use the ground level space while the kale fills the height above them. Cost reality: seed packet, $2 to $3. Total investment: under $3 for 2 separate harvests. Greens now, roots later. Coming up, the crop that gets sweeter the colder it gets outside, almost like the frost is doing the cooking for you. Coming in at number 6, we have beets. And they earn this ranking because they're one of the few crops that actually improve in flavor the longer they sit in cool soil. Think of the deep red, earthy beet salad you'd pay good money for at a farm-to-table brunch spot, plated with goat cheese and a drizzle of balsamic. That's a $12 side dish growing for pennies in your own backyard. And here's what catches people off guard. Beets are almost impossible to overwater outdoors in August heat, because the soil dries fast enough that consistent watering just keeps them happy instead of drowning them. How to DIY: soak seeds overnight to soften the outer shell. Plant a ½ inch deep, water regularly for the first 2 weeks while roots establish. Design tip: plant in blocks rather than single rows. It shades the soil, keeps moisture in, and gives you a denser harvest in a smaller footprint. Cost reality: seed packet, $2 to $3. No special soil amendments needed. Total investment: under $3 for a crop that tastes noticeably better than anything trucked in from a grocery store. Next up is one I have to tell you a story about because it's the one that had my own neighbor asking questions over the backyard fence. Coming in at number 5, we have bush snap beans, and this is the one I promised you at the start. Last August, I tossed a row of bush bean seeds into a gap in my garden almost as an afterthought. I honestly didn't expect much given how late in the season it was. By the beginning of October, that row was loaded. Pole after pole of crisp, snappy beans, right up until the first light frost. My neighbor stopped me at the fence and asked, half joking, if I'd hired a landscaper to redo the bed. I told her the truth. I just planted at the right time, and the plant did the rest. Here's the truth most gardeners never get told. Bush beans planted in August often outperform their spring-planted cousins because they avoid the pest pressure that builds up earlier in the season and mature. just as the weather turns pleasant again. How to DIY. Plant seeds an inch deep, 2 inches apart, water well after planting, and keep the soil moist until you see sprouts, usually within a week to 10 days. Design tip: choose a bush variety, not a pole variety, for August planting. Bush types mature faster, which matters when you're racing the calendar toward frost. Cost reality: seed packet, $3 to $4. Total investment: under $4 for a harvest so productive, people will assume you know something they don't. Coming up, a crop that turns noticeably sweeter after the first cool night. One of the few vegetables where a little frost is actually a gift, not a threat. Coming in at number 4, we have carrots, and this is where the list starts climbing towards something genuinely impressive. A carrot pulled after a light frost tastes almost nothing like the ones you buy in a plastic bag at the store. The cold triggers the plant to convert starches into sugar, and the result is a sweetness you'd expect from something labeled heirloom and sold for double the price at a specialty grocer. Here's what most people skip. Carrots planted in August avoid the worst of the root maggot pressure that hits spring plantings, so you often end up with cleaner, straighter roots with almost no extra effort. How to DIY. Loosen the soil deep and stone-free, since carrots grow straight down and hate obstacles. Sow seeds thinly, cover with a light layer of soil, and keep consistently moist until they sprout, which can take up to 2 weeks. Design tip: mix a pinch of radish seed in with your carrot seed. The fast-growing radish marks the row and is harvested out of the way before the carrots need the room. Cost reality: seed packet, $2 to $3. Total investment: under $3 for a root vegetable that tastes like it belongs in a gourmet market bin. Next, a leafy green that doesn't just survive frost. It practically demands it to reach its full flavor. Coming in at number 3, we have kale, and it earns this high A spot because it might be the single most forgiving, most rewarding green you can plant all year. You've seen kale on the menu at nearly every trendy cafe, massaged into a salad or blended into a smoothie, priced like it's rare. It isn't rare. It's just usually planted at the wrong time of year by home gardeners, which is why so few people ever get to see it at its best. And this is the part that surprises people. Kale actually tastes better after a frost, not worse. The cold converts starches to sugars the same way it does in carrots, so the leaves that come through October and November are the sweetest, most tender ones of the whole season. How to DIY. Plant seeds a 1/4 inch deep, thin to about a foot apart once seedlings are established, and keep watering consistent through the warm final weeks of summer. Design tip: harvest from the outer leaves inward, leaving the center growing point untouched. One planting can keep producing for months. Cost reality: seed packet, $2 to $3. Total investment: under $3 for a green that keeps producing long after most of your summer garden has finished. Coming up, the 2 crops nearly everyone assumes you can only plant in spring. And they could not be more wrong. Coming in at number 2, we have broccoli and cauliflower together. And they earn this spot because a fall crop of either one is, by most gardeners' own admission, better than what they grow in spring. Picture the tight, deep green broccoli crown at a nice restaurant, roasted and charred at the edges, or a cauliflower steak plated like it's the centerpiece of the meal. Both start as a small transplant this month. Here's the truth almost nobody tells you. Spring broccoli and cauliflower race against rising heat and often bolt, turning bitter and loose before they're worth eating. A fall planting races toward cooling weather instead, which is exactly the direction these 2 plants want to grow. How to DIY. Start from young transplants rather than seed this late in the season to give the plant a head start. Space them about 18 inches apart. Water deeply and consistently, especially through any remaining hot spells. Design tip: shade the young transplants for their first week if the weather is still hot, using anything from a light cloth to an upside-down basket during the hottest afternoon hours. Cost reality: Transplants, $3 to $5 each. A six-pack can run $12 to $18. Total investment, under $20 for a harvest of the exact vegetables sold at a premium in the produce aisle, grown from your own backyard. And now, the number one crop. The one that doesn't just stand on its own, it pulls this entire list together into one productive fall garden. Coming in at number one, we have what I call the fall salad and soup garden. And it's the most transformative idea on this entire list because it isn't a single crop, it's a way of combining almost everything you've just seen into one thriving bed. Take the kale from number three, the carrots from number four, and the beets from number six, and plant them together in a single raised bed or garden section, staggered by their days to maturity. Layer in a border of arugula and radishes along the edges, the way a chef plates a garnish around a main dish. What you end up with by mid-autumn is not a scattering of individual crops. It's a self-contained harvest station. Step outside, and in 15 minutes you can pull the makings of a full pot of soup and a full bowl of salad, all from one bed. Here's why this earns the top spot. Any one of these crops on its own is a nice August planting. Together, planned as a single space, they become something else entirely. A small, working kitchen garden that produces through the fall and keeps going well past the point most people have already put their tools away for the year. Design tip: group by height, taller kale toward the back or center, root crops like carrots and beets in the middle rows, and low-growing arugula and radishes along the front edge, so nothing shades out anything else. Cost reality: if you're planting all five from this list together, you're looking at roughly $12 to $18 in total seed and transplant cost for the entire bed. Total investment, under $20 for a fall garden that changes how you feel about this time of year, not just how your backyard looks. It stops feeling like the season is ending. It starts feeling like the second half of the harvest is just beginning. Hey, quick pause right here. If this list has you rethinking what's possible in your garden this month, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach other gardeners who think August is too late to plant anything worthwhile. It isn't, and more people deserve to know that. Tell me down in the comments which one of these you're most excited to try. Radishes for a quick win? The fall salad bed for the full project? I read every single comment. We've still got the bonus tip coming, and honestly, it's the piece that ties this whole list together. Keep watching. Here's the bonus tip I promised you at the very start, and it costs nothing at all. The rule professional growers use to plan an entire fall garden is simple. Count backward from your first frost date. Every seed packet lists days to maturity. Look up the average first frost date for your area. Count back that many days from it, and that tells you the very last safe day to plant that crop this season. Here's why it works. A frost date isn't a hard stop. It's a planning anchor. Once you know it, every crop on this list, and every crop you'll ever plant in late summer, becomes a simple math problem instead of a guessing game. No more wondering if you've missed the window. You'll know exactly where the window is. Do this right now, today. Look up your area's average first frost date, then check the seed packet or plant tag of anything you're considering and count backward. If a crop's days to maturity number fits comfortably before that date, plant it this week. This is the invisible difference between a garden that just happens to produce and one that's actually designed to produce, right up until the cold finally sets in. So, there you have it. 9 crops that prove you don't need cooler weather, a green thumb, or a younger back to grow a fall garden that genuinely impresses. From the quick 3-week win of radishes, to the sweetened by frost payoff of carrots and kale, all the way to that fall salad and soup garden pulling the whole season together. This is a full second harvest, still sitting right in front of you starting this week. Completely doable, completely worth it, completely within reach, no matter what the calendar has convinced you. So tell me, which one are you starting with this weekend? Are you putting in a quick row of radishes, starting the bush beans, or going all in and building the fall salad bed? Let me know your plan in the comments. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Come join a community of people proving that a garden can keep producing and keep bringing you joy, well past the point everyone else has packed it in for the year. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Now get out there. You've got about a week to get these in the ground, and I promise you won't regret it. I'll see you in the next one.